Alright, I've got a change of pace video for you here. Instead of my regular asphalt-based karting videos, back out on the dirt. My buddy Scott got in touch with me. He's the guy who's got the Zen Ridge Raceway or Kartway in his backyard. But one of his buddies out in Rainsboro, Ohio, has his own track on his property, and they're having a little kart get-together. So we are doing the 20-lap, basically a dirt road course race right here. I drew position 2. I think there are 5 of us all together, various types of karts. I've got kind of a mild build 212 clone on mine, running a street kart chassis, or road course, sprint kart chassis. Got a guy right there with a built-up dirt kart chassis. Got one guy with a just stock Predator motor with a dirt kart chassis. Scott's running an asphalt chassis with a LO206 motor on it, and one other guy I think's got kind of a built-up Predator. So we take off, and I'm in second place. You can see everybody eating dust behind me. The guy right behind me, I think he's got one of those kind of built-up Predators. I raced him on the big tri-oval track that they have besides this little dirt road course, and he smoked me on that one. I'll probably put a video up on that. I could kind of hang with him, but he got the jump on me at the beginning of the race, and I just couldn't get around him. I could kind of catch him in the corners, but he'd pull on me at the end of the straightaways. Could have been gearing, but I think he just had a stronger motor. Anyways, on this one, I am in second place right now. I have no idea where anybody behind me is at this stage. I'm just trying not to get smoked by the guy in first place. I was fortunate enough to get a few practice laps in on this before we took off. Otherwise, I would have been stone cold going out here and I would have got killed. But it didn't take me, too many laps to figure out what I wanted to do, I think, or at least get a good idea of where I needed to be. The track itself was in pretty good shape, but it did have areas where the grip was different, the texture of the road was different. A couple places it was a little bit damp at the beginning of the day, and if you'd hit those places, it's weird because your wheels would spin, but your kart would try to dig into the soft soil, and you'd tack out but slow down, and it was an odd sensation. It felt like you ran into some molasses or something for just a second. So most of those had dried out at the point that I'm at right now in this race, but there was still just a couple coming to this left right around here. There were a couple of spots. You could sometimes hit a spot that didn't offer you too much grip, and you'd have to just kind of roll through it until you got to the good dirt. But for the most part, all the way around here was pretty good. Now, the inside line right here was generally the best for me. I could hammer it, not have to let off of the gas at all, and I kind of closed up on the guy in first place. I'm not sure, but I think okay, there's Scott right there. He's going a lap down right there. I knew that, but I didn't still pay enough attention to it that later on in the race, it comes back to haunt me just a little bit. But I have closed in on the leader. Right now, basically, we've driven away from the pack. I think there's one other guy who's pulled off right now. So in reality, there are only 3 karts, the last I saw, that are currently still driving on the track, and the one guy is running like the stock Predator motor, and he's just not even... He's not going to be able to hang with us, really. His kart just doesn't have the horsepower to stick with us. Now this guy, though, he was having a little bit of issues with his kart, and I think he pulls off here pretty soon, maybe not. I think he tries to hang in for one more lap, but I kind of let the cat out of the bag. I'm gonna get right up on him, and he pulled off. He thought maybe his kart was gonna blow up or something. And it's better to pull off and not blow your kart all to pieces than it is just to drive it like you stole it until everything implodes and you have to fix too many things. But once I gave him the nudge right there and I was all over him, I think he realized that, and just what he was feeling driving, that it's probably best if he gets out of the way. So we're probably about 4 laps in. Again, this is a 10-lapper. I get it past him right here. As you can see in my rear-facing camera, he just pulls off and goes around the tri-oval. I didn't really know that. I thought he was still behind me at, in my mind while I'm, still driving. So I'm going hard through this stuff. Again, this is the most difficult part of the track right here, coming around these turns, for me at least. I tried to take that straight line through there, even though the dirt was a little bit soft right there. You'd sometimes break traction. Now right there is the first lap where I was trying to pay attention to Jamie up there, giving the lap count and acting as the flagger. And when I do that, when I look at him to try to count, how many laps are left, I go too wide on that corner and I get out in the looser dirt, and I have to ease off the gas just a hair so that I don't slide off the track. And I screw up right there. Now I was trying to stab the brake so that my back end would kick a little bit and I could zoom down in on that corner tight, and the back end just went around on me too much right there. Now fortunately, with half these people conked out, it's not like we have a NASCAR championship on the line, but everybody wants to win the race they're in. So I was trying to get back on track. I had no idea if anybody was close to me. I was surprised that nobody drove around me while I was spun out, because I really didn't see that the guy that was in first had pulled off and driven around, because he didn't stay on the side of the road. Now right there, I went too deep in that corner. I was a little sloppy in my lap after the spin out. Concentration was a little bit screwed up from going off. I was wondering if things were going to break on my kart. Nothing had. But you can see Scott is now in the picture. He got his kart back on the road. He only went one lap down. And he's closing in on me. I have absolutely no idea that he's there, because I never saw him when I looked back, and he closed ground on me pretty quick. And he's trying to haul a mail out there, but as you can see, I don't know if I mentioned this yet or not, but his helmet, the visor got broke, was busted out of it earlier in the day, and so he's driving with a helmet on with no visor. So all this dust and rocks I'm kicking up with, you'll see him put his hand up to try to shield his face from all the debris that I'm throwing up. But now I'm just hoping my kart stays together, because I've got two GoPro 7s. They both have the hyper smooth image stabilization, and it still looks a little jerky with that on, and typically that just makes it look like you're hovering around the track, and again, way too wide out in the loose dirt, and Scott closes right up on me, and he gets under me right there. He had good straightaway speed. I may not have been going quite as hard, because I don't know if I have a rev limiter on my motor, and I did not want to blow it up, and I was tacking out high RPMs down that hill every time, and I didn't know anybody was behind me until he shot past me, and I was like, where did he come from? So now I jump back into it. I had to try to stay off of him right there. I could have tried to drive through him, but that wouldn't be too cool to spin him out right there. But going through my head, I'm like, wait a minute, am I not in first? I didn't understand. And I finally went low right there, like I needed to be doing. So we get down here, and I'm thinking to myself, I gotta get past him. In reality, I don't. He's a lap down, or he actually got back on the lead lap. So he's, for all intents and purposes, he's a lap behind me now. I'm thinking I'm gonna dive bomb like I did the lap before, and I go a little wide. And once you go wide, it just sucks you off into that grass. I got back out of it. I'd driven through it once or twice before, so I knew I could come back out. And then I just kind of get back on the gas and go back around. Fortunately, my kart held all the way together. I mean, we lost 2 of the 5 karts, I think. Now, when I did get back, I ended up winning. I pull around, and when I take a look at my kart, I've rattled out a valve cover bolt. My motor slid on my motor mount a little bit. I had about a ridiculous amount of play in my chain. But for the most part, the kart held together, and I had a hell of a good time. So that's the end of the video. See you all on the next one.